Four-Toe Steve. So,
Four-Toe Steve.
Hey,
That's a
Four-Toe Steve. I'm Zero Spleen Chris. Nice to meet you.
That's true, right? We're all missing something.
Yo, what up? Ahmed Fareed's here, my man today. I'm Chris Simms, Simms Unbuttoned podcast. We kind of got a good one here today. I mean, it's really good.
They're all good.
They're all good, but this is like extra good, okay? Because first of all, my dad's coming on a little bit. We're going to have him. You haven't had to deal with my dad because it's usually a Wednesday podcast. So you'll understand that you're not going to get much said when my dad gets on.
I'm okay with that.
And supposedly my dad has some quarterback take that he wants to get off his chest.
Really?
I think he's ranked the quarterbacks officially in the Phil Simms world. So I don't even know where this is going to go. I will be excited to hear it. So Big Phil coming up. Then,
you think they're a lot different than your rankings?
I think they might be different.
Think differently?
The way he was telling me and how excited he was about this makes me think, yes, he's going to try to crap on some of the things that I've said. So I don't know where this goes right there.
Okay.
Then we got Drew Lock coming on the podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah, definite first-round quarterback, definite top 20 pick for me, really is a top 10 talent, hands down. Where does he go? I don't know.
Is it fair to call him a man crush, one of your man crushes?
He is one of my man crushes, yes, he really is. I love his style of play, the way he slings the football. You know, he's got a little moxie of a Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Aaron Rodgers, gunslinger type of guy that I always like at the quarterback position. And then, you know what happened?
I heard a rumor he's going to dish on some of the people he's met with, talked with, some teams out there, some former quarterbacks out there.
Yeah, right. That he might have. Yeah, that's the rumor. You're very good. You're very good at that.
Pretty good, right?
Yes. And then, I mean, we're sitting here Thursday, and the schedule came out last night.
Yes.
So that's where we're going to start it off. But that's what we got to look forward to with this right here. And take it away there, Slugger.
And I'm also, and I do want to know, I'm wearing my my Tottenham shirt here because it was about 3 weeks ago.
Right.
I decided that I'm going to be a lifelong Tottenham fan. Yeah. So I've been a lifelong Tottenham fan.
Yes.
For 3 weeks now.
Right. All 3 weeks.
Huge win in the Champions League.
Who'd they play?
Manchester City.
Oh, they beat Manchester City.
Yep.
Who's Tottenham's star player right now?
Harry Kane, who's out with an ankle injury.
That handsome Harry Kane, England guy.
And but so they've been good. They're like always good, but never like elite. They're always kind of they're in the conversation, but so this might be the year. So my lifelong fandom of Tottenham.
Sounds good. Thank you, you bandwagoner.
So that was it. Okay, so we do have the schedule. The schedule came out. Our Sunday night slate looks amazing.
It does.
And I'm not saying that just because we're NBC.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it partly because we're NBC and partly because it really is a good Sunday night schedule, which can change in the second half of the season as we've seen all the time.
Yep.
But I do want to know. So you've seen the schedule for every team.
Just about. I feel like I have. I don't know if I can remember them all anymore. But, yeah, I got a few. And, I mean, the Sunday Night Football schedule, to your point, it is awesome. And the fact that we have the ability to flex games late in the year when teams don't deliver, it's great. But, I mean, come on, Packers, Bears to start it off. Really, I think this is even better. Steelers, Patriots. I mean, no shortage of storylines there as far as the first week 1 Sunday night football game. But so many good ones that jump out to me. New Orleans Cowboys, week 4. What? The Cleveland Browns making their Sunday night football week 3 debut at home with the NFC champs Rams coming into town. And I got my circle week number 8, okay? My 2 favorite quarterbacks are playing each other.
The pillow game.
The pillows are there, okay? And I still think this guy is the best quarterback in football.
Okay.
But this is the first time since 2009 that I would say there's somebody really close. I think 2010 is the year Aaron Rodgers took over as the best quarterback in football. I don't think it's really been close since then.
Brady's never been close to Rodgers.
No, Brady went through a really strugglesville in 11, 12, 13. Okay. Brady's been awesome, don't get me wrong. Yeah. This guy has been on another level for my money. That's all I'm going to say. But this is the first year where I go, oh, no, there's some competition.
And
they're going down.
And next year it could be
this guy.
Right in front.
It could be. But I'm not ready to give him the title yet. Like, that's 1, this is 1A or 1B, whatever you want to say.
I do love the fact that the Browns are at home taking on the Rams in the Week 3 game.
Right?
I mean, that's huge. For that. And there's going to be so many eyeballs on that.
Hype. I mean, Aqib Talib, Marcus Peters versus Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. There won't be any crap talking or shit talking in that matchup.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
I was going to try to go through the schedule and pick kind of like the worst games of the year. Do the opposite of what everyone's doing.
Right.
It's hard to do that because every game has a storyline. Because you look at even the Arizona Cardinals, right? So that's a team where you're like, oh, that's just not going to be a very fun team. Yeah. But if they take Kyler Murray first overall, Week 1, and he's starting, or Week 3 by that time he's starting, that's a super interesting game. So I couldn't really find any games where you're like, oh, that's a real tough one.
That's a real dud.
Those will develop as the year goes on. It's just teams don't have them, but right now it's tough to look at that.
That's the key. No, it's all excitement. It's all optimism, no matter what, as far as teams. I mean, you heard ESPN, they picked all the games last night, and the NFL was 64 games above 500. I mean, according, there's no checks and balances there. But I think the thing that, the thing I look at, and this is what I hate about the whole schedule release, when people start telling me about, oh, I can't wait to this matchup in Week 14 and Week 15. Yeah. Like, they know those two teams are going to be really relevant at that time of the year. Hey, listen, other than New England Patriots, you don't know what the hell and who the is going to be relevant in December, okay? I'm coming out hard in that. So I hate when people go, whoa, this stretch in December right here. And, okay, that looks cool right now before the season starts, but the season could go, and it could be that stretch in December is a bunch of teams that are like, 3-45. Right. So you don't know that. So when schedule releases come out, to me, Ahmed, the first thing I do, and really the only thing I do, is look at the start of the season for teams. That's where the season's framed.
First
September,
4 weeks.
Maybe 5 or 6 weeks. I might go into the first few weeks of October. But that's how seasons are shaped. Again, when a team starts out 0-2, there's only been 3 teams ever to even go to the Super Bowl after starting 0-2. One of them was the 1996 Patriots, who lost to the Super Bowl against the Green Bay Packers. The other 2 are the 2007 Giants, who beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and the 1993 Dallas Cowboys when Emmitt Smith. So that, I think, is a good example of showing you that it's very hard to recover once you're in the hole in the NFL. It's just too much to overcome as the season goes along.
We see that every year, too. It's like 1 and 2 teams go to the playoffs 20% of the time. And if you start out 1 and 3, it's like 10% of the time.
Exactly right.
Even the playoffs.
The pressure mounts to a degree that I will say this. I played in one playoff game and was around other playoff teams where I was the backup quarterback. But I don't think the pressure of those moments or the preparation for those games was nearly as pressure-packed, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, as like if we started out a year 0-2 or 1-3. You want to talk about coaches' asses getting so tight that if you stuck a lump of coal up there, you get a diamond? Thank you from my man from Ferris Bueller.
I didn't know that.
That could be a good thing.
That's
You're right.
a great thing. Get a lot of diamonds that way.
If you could have diamonds up your butt, that would be amazing.
It'd be the one saving grace of being 0-2.
It would be. Like, hey, I'm rich. I have diamonds coming out of my butt.
We're 0-2. We're not going to the playoffs, but we're rich.
But yes. So to me, it is. There's a lot to overcome there. And then what it also can do, vice versa, for teams that are not very good, it can kind of give you false confidence to go, hey, we can find ways to win. We kind of got something. We got a formula here working. And all of a sudden you think, oh, this team that we didn't think was going to be worth a damn going into the season, all of a sudden they're 3-1 or 4-1. And they find a little belief and confidence. And NFL football is such a game of momentum to where now that's where we get the teams where we would go, I never saw this team being in the playoff conversation. I can't believe this. And here they are in December in that combo, and it's all because of how the start of the season shapes up.
And they can get a couple breaks along the way then, and all of a sudden then you still might not be a great team, but you've won those early games. You got breaks throughout the middle of the season.
Exactly
you're a playoff team. Okay, so you've looked at the September schedules then.
Right.
And so which teams does it benefit and which teams maybe does it hurt so far from
your eyes? I mean, right off the bat, I think a team that I just looked at and said not a bad opening schedule, and let me just pull it up just to make sure I got it right, but the New England Patriots were the first team. I know they got the Pittsburgh Steelers week 1. That's brutal, certainly. But, after that, they get to play 3 teams, really 4, 5, 6 teams in a row that I can legitimately sit here and go, no, they're better. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but they're better. They have the Miami Dolphins, the Jets, the Buffalo Bills, the Washington Redskins, the New York Giants, and then the Jets again. So I look at that and go, ooh, New England's poised to be in a very much of a power position after the first 6, 7 weeks of the season. And they have some other stretches that are going to be tough. If you're looking on YouTube right now, weeks 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, which is Ravens, at Eagles, Cowboys, Texans, Chiefs, will be one of the bigger tests for the New England Patriots. But I think they're going to be set up in a good position to, if they flounder a game or two there, it's not going to ruin their season. So I always start off by going, let me look at the Patriots schedule, because that's where the talk of the NFL is. I always go there. Now,
there's one team.
Right.
Let me throw this one.
Yeah, please do.
A team that hasn't been in the playoffs, I think, 2 years in a row now, right? Packers. We haven't seen Aaron Rodgers. And I think that's a huge bummer for everyone not to have Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. You look at their early season schedule, a little troubling. You get Bears, Vikings. You're at Bears. You're home against the Vikings. You're home against the Denver Broncos. You're taking on the Eagles. You're at Dallas after that.
Yes.
Then you get the automatic win of the Detroit Lions. But
I don't know about that. Okay. But yes, no. I mean, I know. I'm with you. That it is. I mean, this is going to be a tough start for Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur, the whole group of guys there. You mentioned on the road against Chicago. I mean, come on. Let's. Chicago's one of the most talented teams in the sport. Then you got the Minnesota Vikings, which we know is already one of the most talented defenses in football. You get the Broncos, Vic Fangio, who came from the Bears, who knows all about Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
That's going to be scary. Plus, they have talent on their team, and it's going to be a good defense. And you can talk about, like you said, Eagles and Cowboys. So, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is going to have to make some magic early on in the season. Certainly jumped out to me. You want to talk about another team who's got a tough early schedule, Ahmed, would be the New Orleans Saints. That's one I look at and go, holy hell, Batman. I mean, they got Texans to start the year at home. Okay, that's great. But the Texans are a playoff football team. Tough, physical. It's Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, come on. We know they're capable of winning some games. But then they go at the Los Angeles Rams for the NFC Championship, rematch. Then they got to stay out of the West Coast and play the Seattle Seahawks. And then they come home and play the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night. I mean, that will be some stretch, and I think really is going to set up the Saints, whether they're going to be a fringe playoff team, a team that can, have a first-round bye, or a team that's going to be fighting for that wild card spot. They go 2-2. Yeah, it's going to be tough sledding, but at least they're in a good spot.
In years past, I would say it's not the worst thing ever if you're the New Orleans Saints led by Drew Brees and you're 1-3. You can dig yourself out of the hole. Like if you have a quarterback that you believe in, you can dig yourself out of a hole.
Yep.
Although I do know from talking to you in the past few weeks, I don't think you're as sold on Drew Brees being that guy, that elite quarterback that can dig a team out of a hole.
No, I think the day and age of Drew Brees being able to carry a team, just with his ability and decision-making and pinpoint accuracy and it all being on him, I do. I think those days are done. And that doesn't mean that the Saints can't still win football games, but I think we saw last year it was a little bit of a transition of how they played. They were definitely a run-first team, Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara, and I think they're going to continue to do that. They got a really good offensive line. But, yeah, I don't think that he is – I certainly would question that to a degree, out of the fact that, man – that's been 2 heartbreaking seasons, the way they've ended. Minneapolis Miracle, and then, of course, last year the debacle in the NFC Championship game, to where that is a lot to overcome. And, it's tough to, restart the engine once again and have a chip on your shoulder. And just we're going for the Super Bowl and all of that after you had 2 big letdowns like that. So I'm going to be interested to see how they start out the year.
Let me throw a team.
Yeah,
you
please throw them out. Go
ahead. The team that the Saints play Week 1 is Houston, the Houston Texans. Right. I think a lot of people. It'd be cool to see them make a run. Deshaun Watson, a lot of things that we like about them. DeAndre Hopkins as well.
I love them.
So it'd be nice to see them make a run, but offensively, it's going to be tough go for them the first few weeks. So they got the Saints.
Yeah.
Then they get the Jaguars at home.
Yeah.
Then you're at the Chargers. And then you're home against Carolina. Then you're home against the Falcons. And then you're at the Chiefs. I mean,
then you're at the Colts, right?
So for Houston, that could be a tough go early.
It can be a really tough go early, and they got off to a horrible start last year and somehow managed to sneak into the playoffs. So yeah, that is not going to be easy. I mean, playing in New Orleans, just in my experience, New Orleans certainly ranks up there as far as one one of the toughest places to play when they are good and the crowd is really rolling, which they will be on week 1. So that's scary. The Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, everybody watch out for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I still think this is one of the most talented teams in football. The defense, they don't need one player. They're good. And they're going to be one of the best defenses in football. But, getting Nick Foles, having a high draft pick, what do? I would think it goes somewhere on the offensive side of the ball to where I think Jacksonville is going to be a lot closer to the team we saw in the AFC Championship game and have a bounce-back year. So to your point there, that won't be easy. And then, of course, the Chargers, the Panthers are a team I look at as bounce-back. And the Falcons and Chiefs we know are dangerous as well. I mean, the AFC South is that's a tough division. It really is. When you talk about the Titans, Colts, Jags, and Texans, that's 4 quality football teams, all have pretty good quarterbacks. So that's not a bad one either. I know there's another one. My buddy Kyle Shanahan, I'm worried about him, okay? Oh. He's my friend, all right, and I'm rooting for them. But it's a big year. It's year 3. Jimmy Garoppolo's got to perform. My man Kyle Shanahan, they got to have a good record at some point just to take the pressure off. They start off on the road twice, okay? Yeah. At the Bucs, at the Bengals, both East Coast teams,
That's
okay?
Always tough.
That's right. And they're not good. Teams. I know the Bucs and Bengals, we're not talking about Super Bowl, but here's the angle that everyone's got to remember. It's 2 starting head coaches, new head coaches. So the team, the fan base is going to be energized, right? And, they're both home openers. The Bucs are getting a home opener and getting the 49ers. The next week is a home opener for the Bengals, who have the 49ers. But then after that, it just doesn't get any easier. It's Steelers. They get to go home for their home opener. Oh, great. You got Big Ben and company coming to town. So that's not good. You got the Browns coming to town the week after that, which I know we all know are going to be dangerous. Mm-hmm. And then it's at the Los Angeles Rams. So I look at that as going, wow, that's a tough schedule. And I'll throw in one other team there that I think I just would say watch out for this schedule, the New York Jets. The New York Jets, Bills and Browns to start the year, okay? Which I know these are 2 teams that I would say watch out for, the Bills and Browns. Yep. But then they're at the Pats, they're at the Eagles, they got the Cowboys, and then they play the Patriots again. So you got to play the Patriots 2 out of their first 6 games. That's never a good formula. Right. But let alone you got the Eagles and the Cowboys, who are both playoff teams, and the upstart Browns and the Bills, who are a good football team, and I think really on a sharp trajectory going upward. So, yeah, the start of the year frames so much, and those are just a few teams that the schedule jumped out to me.
Yeah, because it does. It feels like when you're 1-3, 1-4,
you're almost done.
You have to have things go perfect. You have to have the talent. You have to not really be a 1-4 team.
Right.
Because sometimes you just are. Right.
Yes,
sometimes you're like, what a bad
right.
start. But like, actually, you're just a 1-4 team.
Right.
It's not a bad start. That's what you are.
Yep.
But if you did have a bad start and you do have the talent, then you still need things to go your way because, as we've seen many times, it's just, one fumble here or there, one bad call, New Orleans Saints.
Yes, exactly right.
Let me throw a couple more things your way here just to kind of, like little quirks of the schedule that we wrote about and our team wrote about on NBCSports.com. The Chargers have a 6-week gap between home games. They do play at home in Mexico City against the Chiefs. But does that change the challenge of doing that? I think the Raiders have a long stretch away from Oakland.
They do. I think it's 6 weeks as well. The Buccaneers, I think, are in that conversation as well.
Does that change your thoughts on the Chargers and them having to play away from home for that long?
Yes, it does. Those are as an ex-player or a guy that played in the NFL, those are the stretches that you're looking at when the schedule comes out. You're going, okay, who are we playing in week 1? What are our primetime games? Those are the first things as a player you look at. Yeah. The next thing is, all right, who are our first few games against? And then do we have any murderer's row stretches of just unbelievable teams that we have to play in a row, or travel schedule? Travel schedule can wear you out in the NFL, and I know it sounds minute maybe to some teams, but think about it this way. You're play a Sunday night game or a late Saturday game. You're on the West or Sunday afternoon game. You're on the West Coast. You get home. It's, okay, gosh, I get in the house. It's 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. It's get up the next morning, go to the facility, start the week going. The coaches are, they're tired. All of those things. The travel, being away from home, all of that affects your season altogether, especially when you get Sunday night and Monday night football games, because then it's no rest for the weary. And I said this today on Pro Football Talk. The coaches are the ones who really get killed in those stretches. You play a Monday night game, and as a coach in the NFL, okay, the game's over, go home for a few hours and sleep. But tomorrow, man, we got to cram in Monday and Tuesday into Tuesday, okay, and get ready for our next opponent. So that's not easy. Or if you're on a road trip, Monday Night Football, and you land back and let's say, you're whoever it is, Monday Night Football, you're the New England Patriots, you land back in Foxborough and it's 5 a.m, the coaches just get off the plane and go right to the office. And that wears you out, and that affects game planning, and it affects the players and all of that. So those are all.
Then they're grouchier, and they're tougher on the players, and then that makes the players angry.
More miserable too. Anyone. Exactly right.
Speaking of the Patriots, they have all those primetime games. They're on TV a lot. This was on Pro Football Talk as well. The Lions have 12 more days of rest than their opponents over the course of the season, while the Patriots have an NFL worst 13 fewer days of rest than their opponents. The reason is because the Lions never play an opponent coming off a bye, while the Patriots play 3 games against opponents coming off a bye. So that's an advantage Lions, disadvantage Patriots.
I mean, to a degree, I think at face value it looks this way, but I would say this. Most teams are famous for not being good at playing off their bye week. The bye week can really be a bad thing in my experience in the NFL. I was on a 6-0 football team that went into the bye week, and we never won a freaking game like the next 7 weeks in a row after that. Because you go home, you take the foot off the gas pedal, the coaches relax a little bit, there's a little attention to detail lost, guys go, I'm going to eat a little more this week, I don't have to play, I'm going to work out a little less and let my body recover.
You get out of your routine.
You get out of your routine, and you get out of some of your... you get a little sloppy with techniques. I mean, I always felt like the offensive linemen's pads were high when we came out of a bye week, like, staying low and driving off the ball, little things like that to affect your team. So, I know that doesn't look good, and people are going to have the advantage as far as preparing for the New England Patriots, but the bye week also can be one of those things where teams are, hey, we talk about Andy Reid being great off the bye week for a reason, because he's one of the few coaches in football that has consistently proven that he can handle that week and the team can still be good the next week. Most teams, if you look at it, it's not that, overwhelmingly beautiful as far as the results after the bye week.
Last one for me. The Ravens and their schedule. They perfectly alternate road and home games all season long.
Ravens were one of the teams I almost brought up, and that's amazing. Okay, that's a great thing.
The first time, or it hasn't happened in a while. I don't know exactly when. 3 times previously.
So
that's 1978.
Always a positive. And the Ravens are one of those teams I looked at to go, they have a favorable start of the season. They get to play the Dolphins and the Cardinals, who are both in kind of rebuild mode. And the Ravens are a team that is set up to be physical, and they're still a really good football team. Hey, whether they're in the playoffs, I don't know, but I think they're going to be in that conversation because they're talented on offense and defensive line. Lamar Jackson, the whole Ravens defense is good. So, I would think they're going to be one of those teams that's in the mix all along. All right, Ahmed, you weren't there for this.
No.
I just wanted to talk to this guy alone, okay? It's quarterback talk.
No, I wouldn't want to infringe. You know, it's 2 people. It's not a love triangle here.
It's not a love triangle?
It's a man crush,
But you're in the triangle sometimes. But either way, I talked to Drew Lock earlier. It was a great conversation. Here's that interview right now. Drew Lock. And a lot of people haven't given him maybe the credit he deserves. I would like to state it right now just because I know he can hear me and I want to butter him up for this conversation. But I, from the get-go, said he was the number 2 quarterback in the NFL draft. Maybe he might not even like me for saying number 2. Maybe he's going to be like, what the hell? Why wasn't I number 1? But Drew Lock, thanks for coming on, man. How you doing, buddy?
Thanks for having me. And, it makes me feel a little better you saying 2. But, there is still that little gut feeling that of the competitor inside me that's like, gosh, 2 just does not sound good.
I hear you.
That is what it is. It is what it is.
That's right. At the end of the day, you got a chance to you're going to be a first-round quarterback, and you'll get to prove me wrong at some point, and I'll have you back on the podcast, and you can go, okay, Chris, you idiot, I was the best quarterback, so deal with it. So please, prove me wrong. I'm just putting that offer out there for you.
Oh, yeah, we can come back, rehash things up, and, just circle the wagons and figure out where we went wrong.
Definitely. All right. So let's just start, with where you're at right now. What's this whole process been like for you since you've gotten done with your bowl game? Just if you can kind of just give us a synopsis of everything you did preparing to the combine and to where you're at now, and kind of just what it's like being Drew Lock here the last 2.5 months.
Yeah, no, I'll try to sum it up as best I can, but pretty much I got 5 days after my bowl game to come home and see my family, see a couple of my friends before I ended up leaving, and we went out to California, and I was out there for about a month, and, I'd stay in California for a week and train and do board work and lift and run and get ready for the combine, but then there would be the Senior Bowl. Right. So I went to Mobile and did the Senior Bowl with Coach Gruden and had an absolute amazing weekend down there at the Senior Bowl. Like, I really think it was like the jump start to, my campaign as a possible QB to get picked up in the first round. And then after the Senior Bowl, you go back home, you train for a couple more weeks, and then you go to the Combine. And the Combine is a whole ordeal in itself. But the Combine was awesome, being able to, throw and run and then meet with the teams. Obviously, meeting with the teams is really, really important. And then still going out and throwing and showing that you can still throw the football after a couple months and nobody's seen you throw or a couple weeks after nobody's seen you throw the football is a big deal. But I think the weirdest part of the Combine, just a side note, is that it is just deathly quiet in there.
Yes.
I mean, if you think about it, quarterbacks, we're operating in loud huddles, loud stadiums. We've never, we throw the ball when it's silent very rarely. It's that was the weirdest thing you had to get adjusted to at that Combine.
Yeah, well, wait, I want you to stop right there just for a second, because I'm with you. The Combine is weird altogether. And I hated this, and I just want to ask you this before you go on, just because you're on the subject. The Combine, you talked about the weird environment. Also, I hated the fact that it was hey, throw 2 balls and get back in the back of the line. To me, the process of the workout doesn't make sense. It doesn't ever let you get in a rhythm or really get going throwing the football. Did you feel the same way when you were going through it?
Oh, for sure. Because then, we all have our routines during the week and during game day. I got to throw at least 5-6 balls before I head out to, take a drive on, and then you kind of get in a rhythm in a game.
Right.
But yeah, when you take 2 to 3 throws and get back in line and, high five a couple guys and smile because, you're out smiling at everybody at the Combine. It's just gosh, this is such a charade. But yeah, I don't know. It was definitely different. But yes, getting into a rhythm was not the easiest thing at the Combine. But, you're throwing a football, so you've been doing that your whole life. You better be pretty good at it.
Now, yeah, okay. And then added to that, again, I wasn't a first-round quarterback. I was hoping to be. But did you feel like you were competing with guys at the Combine? I know at the Combine, I would see a guy throw, and I'd be like, oh, that was a good one. I better bring my A game next time around. Did you find yourself letting thoughts like that creep into your mind, or did you just say, I'm going to be Drew Lock and not worry about it?
No, I was more so I'm just going to be myself.
Yeah.
That's just kind of who I am. Of course, there's a little competitive nature in you where you'll watch and, all right, that was a good throw. I'm going to go up there and top it. But most of the time, you just got to stay in your own zone.
Yeah.
When we talked about it, we said run your own race when I was running the 40. Don't try to run, super hard because then again, you'll mess yourself up. So run your own race. Do your own thing. Just stay in your lane. You'll be just fine.
All right, so you get done with the Combine, and, of course, now it's get ready for your pro day and all the visits and everything like that. So kind of I want to know kind of what's been your process as far as building up to the pro day, and then talk to me a little bit about the visits you've had to make around the NFL.
Yeah, so my pro day, I went back to California after the Combine for 4 days.
Yeah.
And went over the pro day script with Jared and Tyree and Coach Palmer. And then I got to come home after that. And I was lucky enough to have my private quarterback coach from Kansas City, his name is Justin Hoover, go out to California with me through this whole process.
Great.
It's him and Jordan both, they both worked with me to where, it was great. We had 3 quarterback coaches out there. We had Jordan, we had Justin, who kind of worked with me. And it was just perfect and ended up being great. And then so I got to come home after California and prep the pro day schedule with him here in Kansas City.
Right.
Which made my life a lot easier instead of coming back to Kansas City or Columbia and not having your quarterback coach. Because, once you leave your college, they're worried about everybody else already. So
yeah,
that just is what it is. But no, so I got to come back to Kansas City and Columbia. I had to bounce back and forth because teams would come in and work you out in Columbia or Kansas City, but most of the time they want to do it in Columbia. So depending on the day, depending on the week, I was either in Columbia or Kansas City working with Coach Hoove or working out for someone, for some NFL team.
Right.
And once that week got over, or 2 weeks got over, that's when I started taking my visits. And I went East Coast first week.
Yep.
West Coast second week. And then went up north the third week. So it was crazy. You're catching 1,000 flights.
Yep.
Meeting 1,000 new people. You're getting thrown up on the board by these clubs and these teams. you're meeting GMs, you're meeting presidents, you're sitting with head coaches, you're sitting with OCs, you're sitting with quarterback coaches. And, I went in full suited. So I was all snazzy and dressed up.
That's good to hear.
Make it a point that, like, this is important to me. And,
yeah,
you guys are possibly my future employer, kind of like a job interview. So that was kind of our mentality with that. And went through those visits. And I would say it was like probably 10 to 12 flights and probably like 10 days, 14 flights, 10 days, something like that. It was a lot of traveling, but once you come back and you finally get home, it's way worth it.
Okay, all right. So, I mean, yes, you made all the visits. You don't have to name all the teams. I mean, but let's go through a few of them. There's one, the New York Giants. You go give me your East Coast trip and give me your West Coast trip and give me your North trip if you can remember off the top of your head. Just yell out the teams for me if you're allowed to.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if I'm allowed to, but it's definitely out there. You named one with New York.
Right.
Then you can imagine the teams on the West Coast, quarterback team, maybe a quarterback that, used to play ball for the team, had me out and was really good. One of those cues,
right.
Maybe number 7. He might have worn number 7.
I got you. Yes, his name was John Elway. Yes, and he's had a love affair with you apparently from get-go. So I'm not shocked you were out there. Yes, they've been in conversations with you a lot. What was that like to meet John Elway? Just while we're at it, because I look at him as certainly one of the 3 or 4 greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah, it was pretty unique because it just came full circle to where he played ball. He got technically recruited, however you want to say it, by the Broncos and played for the Broncos and did what he did there, which is nothing short of outstanding. And then now he's a part of that staff and trying to find another Q. And for me to be up for that, for him to spend time sitting down with me and watching film and having me install a play, like just to have it come full circle to where one of the better quarterbacks of all time is now wanting me to play quarterback for him possibly.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. And, to be able to say that, it becomes real life for you really quick, which is awesome.
Yeah, okay. So, here we are. We're basically 6 days from the NFL draft. And you don't have to tell the team here, but do you have a feel right now, 6 days out, about maybe the one team is going to draft you or the 2 or 3 teams that you think are in the conversation? You have any feel at all, or are you totally in the dark at this point?
I would honestly go with a little bit of both. Like, I'm 50-50. I want to say there's teams that I exactly know what's going on.
Right.
But the more and more stories I hear about the draft, and, some people don't even talk to you, and those are the people that end up drafting you.
That's right.
I don't know. I've just gotten to the point where I'm not even going to waste stock in it. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to enjoy these last couple of days. Here's my family working out, throwing with Coach Hoove here. And just when that day comes, I'll have my phone sitting there. Hopefully it's charged up. Hopefully I remember to plug it in at night. They can eventually call me while I'm sitting around the table.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be a big moment for you and your family. Okay, I want to have a little fun with you now, okay? This is, this is Chris Simms research time. First thing we got to talk about, all right? You go to the New York Giants. You talk about that visit. The hell with the actual visit. What I want to know about is what happened after the visit, all right? You got to go and hang out with Saquon Barkley, and it sounds like you had a kind of a fun late night. So let me hear the goods. What did you do with Saquon? What was it like to be king of New York next to him for a night?
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. He took me to an Italian restaurant, which I'm a big Italian fan. I get Olive Garden here in Kansas City, so for me to be able to go to New York and go to like a 4-star, almost 5-star Italian restaurant,
yeah,
have some veal. I had veal for the first time.
Okay,
that was a pretty good dinner to say the least. I appreciated him being that way because my plane got delayed and whatnot, so it was good.
All right, that's good. Veal's good. And I hope that Saquon, he picked up the tab. He's already got cash. You don't have it yet, right?
No, I'm assuming if I end up there, then we'll be going out to a dinner where I have to pay.
Yeah. No, you definitely will. I've been a part of rookie hazing dinners, and that's never fun. All right, so that's cool. You're a big baller, hanging out at Italian restaurants with Saquon Barkley. Next thing I got to talk to you about, which hits kind of close to home to me, and I don't really like this, okay? And I like you as a player. I'm not proud of my school, okay? This is where I went to the University of Texas. And one of the first times I ever watched you was the bowl game from 2 years ago where you throw a laser down the middle of the field for like a 70 or 80-yard touchdown. You make no acknowledgement to the Texas sideline or anything. You do your little dance, which I don't know what the hell that dance is. I want you to explain that to me.
I got you.
But then they mocked you after, which as a Texas alumni, I'm not even going to lie. I did not like that. I did not think it was cool that the head coach or some of the other guys on the team got involved in it. It bothered me at the time, and I've always wanted to ask you about it. But tell me just, what your thoughts there, why they were mocking you, and then I do want to know where you got that dance from.
Yeah, well, no, that's a great story to talk about. I'm happy to talk about it. So the dance, it's actually me putting a backpack on.
Gotcha.
And the thing at the time was like, go secure your bag. Like, I'm going to go make my money. I'm going to go ball. I'm securing the bag. I'm in my bag. It's in a bunch of rap songs and stuff. So
gotcha.
We actually started the year not too hot. And I was trying to get some juice back to like our team, to the offense. And so whenever we scored a touchdown, you could have the bag, put the bag on, you secure the bag. So like that ended up being a thing to where like, holy cow, this is actually not a bad gig, Drew. Like I kind of dig this. So everyone kind of adapted it and it just became a thing. And then we didn't score in that first half very much. Came out, that was the first play of that half. And yeah, we threw the laser. And I was like trying to get us going. Like, dude, let's go. Let's put our bags on. Let's get this thing moving. And of course, we ended up losing that game. And I threw a pick right at the end of the game.
Right.
Yes. The mocking then began. But I guess when you got to do the bag celebration 44 times that year, I don't know. I guess someone needed to do it a couple more times to make themselves feel a little bigger. But it was all in fun. Whatever, I've kind of left it in the past. But I had done it enough that year, so I'm glad that they got to do it a couple times. And hope they felt good doing it. Hopefully they bring it back this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was cool. I liked it. I mean, it showed you got a little moxie, too. It really reminded me of Baker Mayfield. That's when I kind of jumped on your bandwagon. I was like, oh, I like this kid. He's a little cocky in a good way. Yeah. Got confidence. So good for you. And I'll see if I can talk to some people down there at Texas and back them off next time, okay? I'll try to do my best there. The other thing, yeah, you led college football with touchdown passes in that year, the 2017 football season. No, this is the next thing I want to bring to you as far as the conversation. You probably could have left after 2017 and been a top 10 or top 15 pick because your offense played well and your stats were amazing and everybody gets in all of that. You're still going to go top 10 or top 15 in this draft, but people question you more this year, I feel like, after the season than they did last year. And let me just say this, as a guy that has defended you a lot, and I'm all in on your game and what you bring to the table. I mean, I want to say this to defend you. Your offense wasn't as good. You lost Josh Heupel. He went to Central Florida, and it was not as creative. So I want to say that. Also, I watched Georgia and Alabama where people like to blame you, and I want to go, well, I didn't see 3 open receivers the whole game, so I don't care if Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers played in that game. I don't think the results would have been any different. Have you found yourself having to defend your play last year? Because to me, that seems to be the number one media critique about you.
Yeah, no, that definitely is one of the biggest knocks or critiques, so to say, on me. But as far as going into this season, I knew that we were changing our offense. I knew that Coach Dooley was going to bring a little more of an NFL-style approach to our offense, to where we could be in games at the end of the game. Where, like, yes, our offense was explosive the 2 years before, but I think if you saw, we either kicked the shit out of somebody, excuse my language.
You're allowed to say shit on my podcast anytime you want.
We either kicked the crap out of somebody, or we end up losing by like 30 or 21. Like, there was one game, and I think it was against Kentucky and Arkansas, 2 games where it came down to the end. But it was more so it swayed with, how athletic we were against the team that we were playing. To where this year we came into games, at least I did, with this mentality of, this game could actually come down to the fourth quarter with the style of offense that we ran. So I was way okay with giving up touchdowns, giving up a couple yards to actually be in games and be more of a contender, in the fourth quarter. And I think that's something that we had to adapt to throughout our year, with being able to go into fourth quarters and try to win a game. And, we actually did. We went up in South Carolina, went up against Kentucky, just had two unlucky plays to end both of those games. We go to Purdue, we beat Purdue, who ends up being a big dog later in the season, but
right.
That's not talked about very much. And then it just got to the point where it was like, all right, I'm comfortable in these games now because of this offense. And like I said, I'll subtract any amount of yards and any amount of touchdowns to learn what I did that year and honestly figure out what it's like to play real ball in a real fourth quarter situation. So
yep.
If people want to knock me on that, I'm go ahead and knock me. I'll gladly learn what I did and take what I did there to the next level.
Yeah, that's right. That's the growing experience, and I think that's the right way to approach it, man. You're right. You're going to be playing in a lot of close games in the fourth quarter in the NFL, so I think that was the proper answer. Kudos to you there. Now, the next thing I want to go to is your basketball game. I mean, been a lot of hype about your b-ball game. I was like you, too. I was good at b-ball, probably could have gone small Division I basketball player. Were you that level? Like, let me hear your game, and were you being recruited in basketball, too, to go along with it?
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely got some recruiting. I started really young. My mama got me into the game of basketball, and slowly but surely just made my way up the Kansas City pipeline to one of the best teams in Kansas City. And that started my 7th and 8th grade year and stayed with that program and ended up going and getting a couple offers. Yeah, I got an offer from Oklahoma.
Wow.
Got an offer from Missouri and got an offer from Wichita State.
Okay, you were better than me.
They ended up being a Final Four team. So I guess I could have been on a Final Four team, which would have been kind of sick. But I'm actually happy with where I'm at right now today, believe it or not.
Oh, so, yeah, believe it or not. Yeah. I mean, I know. I'm real shocked you're happy. Yeah, I think you made the right choice there, big guy.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. My high school career was awesome. I started for 4 years there, scored 1,800 points, and had 2 20-win seasons, which hadn't been done in a long time in my high school. So had a great staff around me, though. I had an awesome coach. Coach Little was awesome, and then the guys around me, Blake Oliver, I'm giving him a little shout-out. Blake, OJ, Marquand, Nick Larkin, we had a good team. We had a good squad.
All right, that sounds good. One day when we meet up, me and you are going to face off in a 3-point contest because I think I could take you there. I'm not sure if I could take you in anything else, but I like my chances. We'll see. I don't know.
See, exactly. That is exactly why I chose the game of football, because if someone can walk out there and shoot as good an amount of threes as me, and they've been out of the game for long, I should be doing something else with my athletic ability.
Thank you. I don't know if that was a compliment or not to me, but thank you.
No, it was a compliment.
All right. I know you got other things to do. I want to bother you with like 3 more questions, and we'll let you go. Okay, first thing is, growing up, who was your favorite quarterback?
Growing up, gosh, who's my favorite quarterback? I'm going to stick in college. Chase Daniel is my favorite quarterback.
Wow, I know.
Like that guy, just being a Missouri guy.
Okay, I know. You love Missouri. I do know that. Okay, first thing you're going to buy yourself with your new NFL draft first-round cash you're going to have. What are you going to go with?
I keep getting this question. I never know what to answer, but I'll just go with a classic car. Like, I got to get a car. I drive a truck that's like 11 miles to the gallon, and I'm kind of sick and tired of that.
Okay.
So I'm going to get a car. I'm going to get a little sports car.
Okay, get a little sports car. Okay, I like that. Don't be like doing Lamar Jackson and going 105 and film your speedometer, though. That's not a good look, okay? So be careful
there.
Did that
happen? I didn't even know that happened.
It did. It happened like a few weeks ago, so don't do that for sure. Okay.
I'll stay off that.
Best player you played against in college. Who was the one guy that stands out to you? You just go, I don't care who it is, defensive line, offensive line. Maybe it was somebody you didn't even get on the field with, another offensive guy. But who's the guy in college football over the last few years where you just said, man, this guy is unreal?
We played against so many.
Yes, you did.
But Roquan Smith was really, really good.
Okay, that's an acceptable answer. I'll accept Roquan Smith. All right.
But then again, like Jamal Adams was pretty freaking good too.
Yes.
We played Dak Prescott my freshman year. It's like he was a killer in college, and he's still a killer in the pros right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. We played a lot of good dudes. Hargraves.
Oh, man, I know. Well, the SEC is king. I mean, that's the one good thing about you playing in the SEC. You're going to see a lot of these guys when you're on an NFL team next year. So, okay, and then the last one I want to talk about, because I know you're Kansas City, I know you're Missouri, but you had to take note of the other big quarterback in town this year. I mean, I'm sorry to say, I love your arm, and you have a really strong arm, but you have the second strongest arm in this city of Kansas City, okay? I could say that.
Yep.
Just tell me about Patrick Mahomes and your thoughts on him.
Yeah, well, first off, I'll go ahead and say the dude played his ass off, obviously.
Right.
He took this city by storm, and the way he got to sit behind Alex, which was, I mean, looking at it now, I don't know the full story, but I think it worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah.
But then he came in here and he took the city by storm, played his butt off, got the juices back here in Kansas City. I can't drive anywhere around my hometown without seeing a Patrick Mahomes sign or a billboard, which is, it's cool for the time being, but I think I remember exactly where I was when the Chiefs drafted Patrick, and I've always wanted to play for the Chiefs, and now the only thing left to do is to go ahead and beat him now, since I can't play for him. So hoping that someday I get the opportunity to come back to Arrowhead and play him, which would be awesome. It'd be cool to be able to come back home.
Yeah, well, I think that will happen one day. I'm going to let you go. Hey, I just want to say this. Good luck in the draft, no matter what. I know you're going to have a successful career. I'm really hoping that the Giants take you at number 6, because I'm up here close to the New York area, and I'm just calling it now. I want first dibs on, Chris Simms Unbuttoned podcast. We'll do something in the city and make you a man of the people if the Giants take you at 6. I'd like to be your hype man in the corner, okay? I'm going to be your hype man.
All right. You got the dibs.
All right, man. Be good. Good luck with everything. We'll see you.
Thank you.
You secured dibs. You've secured. Very smart.
Thank you. I'm getting there. Smart. I'm learning how to work this business finally.
So you loved him going into the interview.
I did.
Do you love him more or less now after talking to him?
You know what? I think I love him more. Yeah. I know you got to hear a little bit of the interview altogether, but got a great way about him. And I always appreciate just not being a robot in these type of situations. It's hard as a college kid because the agent's telling you to be careful, don't say this. You don't want to offend anybody. You don't want to say anything that's going to turn a team off from what you are.
Right.
But showed some personality, said the word shit. I mean, those things go
and then
a
you
long
go,
way.
And then you go, you can say that on my podcast.
And then he didn't say it again.
Crap.
Right. So, but no, showed some personality. I always appreciate honest answers, a little charisma. And like I said, I'm really hoping the Giants take him at number 6. I would love for him to be here in New York, and then I'll be his hype man in the corner all the time.
And I love when he said, when you go, you're my number 2 quarterback, he goes, it pains me to hear you say number 2.
Yeah, right.
Because he wants to be number 1 over Kyler Murray, but he has a chance to prove that.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so let's bring in our number 1 quarterback, okay? Yes, he is. I'm not the number 1 quarterback in my own family. Yep, it is my father, Phil Simms. Hey, Dad, what's going on? How are you?
Well, everything's going on. It's just that time. You know what's going on. Busy weekend ahead, a lot of work, all these things. First off, I don't look at my phone when I work. I put it away, and I don't do that, so I'm not one of those guys. I heard y'all talk about that.
Yeah.
And I guess you talked to Drew Lock. That's who you were talking about.
I was, yep.
And you liked him because he cursed. Wow, okay. So well, and you must love me, son.
Well, I do, of course. I love you so much.
And you must be the king of all times with that mouth of yours. So,
well, yes, I am. I mean, and again, I give you all the credit for this mouth that I have.
Thank you. Very good. Okay.
So Phil, Phil, it's the first time. This is Ahmed Freed. First time that I've got to sit down and talk with you. Honored as always.
Well, good to talk to Ahmed and everything, and I hope it's going well. And
it is so far. And Chris gave me the heads up. He goes, I hope you don't have a whole lot of questions. He goes, because my dad will just take whatever he wants to talk about and go. So
well, not necessarily. I'm going to be a good guy today. But I listened. I'll say this to you, Ahmed. I listened to Christopher and Paul do the spring game in Notre Dame, and they did very well. And I said, geez, when I do the podcast, why can't you guys be that good? You know, I mean, it's incredible.
Thank you, Dad.
I couldn't even believe it was the same people. I said, wow.
We don't put as much time into the podcast now.
I'm getting the C game instead of the A game, you know, so I don't know.
Right.
Oh, well.
So I've heard a couple things, and I've been with Chris here doing the podcast for a few times. We've talked a lot about the quarterbacks in the draft.
Yeah.
He's got his refined quarterback rankings, and I was curious, and I was just asking him beforehand. I was like, so how divergent are the way you look at a quarterback, Chris, and maybe the way that your dad looks at a quarterback? And he goes, I think my dad has some opinions on some of these guys that are a little bit different than mine, maybe on a couple players specifically. And so I was just curious, Phil, if that's true.
Well, that's a good question. I don't know exactly how he has them. We talk about it. I think we view and we talk so much about football and quarterbacks, and he knows I throw a lot of guys. We're always talking about all that stuff. So we kind of look for the same traits. And I think one thing he learned from me, I think he did, is when you talk about a quarterback, and there's many things. One, if you start out with, hey, he's a leader, he's this and this, and you go, all right, I've heard enough, stop.
Yeah.
Because the first thing I want to hear out of your mouth when you're talking about players, I want to hear something about his physical ability that's going to give him a chance to be a starter, a star, or whatever in the NFL.
Right.
So we got to start with that trait. Then we move on to all the other things, the intangibles, and we find out. And if somebody says, well, he kind of reminds me of Drew Brees, I think he's – and I just go, okay, no. Drew Brees is special. When you start looking for Drew Brees, you're going to miss 95 out of 100 times. It was a tremendous athlete, just had the ability to play the game to a level that we haven't seen. And so I hate that comparison sometimes.
Yeah.
And Drew Brees is not a small quarterback. He plays tall. He has long arms, big hands, great athlete, throws over the top, all those things. So anybody that's 6 foot, they always bring up Drew Brees.
Yeah.
And I go, they're not. So that's the first thing.
Yeah, okay, so that's the first thing, and you're right. I mean, Drew Brees beat Andy Roddick in tennis one-on-one. I mean, that tells you what kind of athlete he is, all right?
Well, I'll never forget a couple years ago, he scores a touchdown, he jumps up, and he dunks the ball 2 hands over the crossbar. Like I said, that was pretty easy.
Yeah, right.
And, and this wasn't, when he was 28. This was like when he was 37.
Right.
So that was pretty impressive, too, so he's kept it up. But I think that I don't know if everybody agrees, but I look at, if I had to rank them.
All right, so let me hold on. So before you go, these are my rankings, just so you can
all right, go ahead.
You can hear it, just so you know. I have Kyler Murray 1, Drew Lock 2, Dwayne Haskins 3, Jared Stidham 4, Ryan Finley 5, Daniel Jones 6. Those are that's my top 6 right there. And then I got Clayton Thorson and Will Grier right after that. But that's how I got it. So I would love to hear it, because I know you said you think you got a little bit of a ranking in your head, and I have no idea what they are. So I go ahead, big guy.
Well, the problem is, they're in my head, and I can't figure them out. Let me just start out with this. With Kyler Murray, why would you take him? Do I worry about his size? Yes. I know Baker did it last year, and I know all this, but it still bothers me a little bit. But the one thing about him that makes him a high pick in the draft is he has special qualities. Speed, we know that. Quickness, that will stay with him for a long time. He'll keep the quickness, and he'll lose some speed as time goes. And it goes usually fairly quick for quarterbacks. His arm strength and accuracy, he's a thrower and a passer, which we love. I love his, truly his mechanics. When you watch him hold the football, the nose of the football is pointing forward a little bit. That tells me he locks his wrist, which I think is a great thing for QBs, because, I don't mean to get over, if this is really QB talk.
No, that's all right.
It makes him control the ball.
Right.
And he can control the speed. He spins it well, and you just keep going on and on. Really good deep thrower, easy ball to catch because it spins so hard, and it's, very seldom throws a ball that has any wobble to it. So that's all great. He was born to throw.
And explain thrower and passer, just so people know what you mean.
Well, thrower's a guy that throws, he's just got a strong arm. It's great and all that stuff. And
right.
That's awesome. I like that. And I think we undervalue it too much in the NFL. And I hear it all the time, and I argue against it, because receivers, getting the football to a receiver just a split second faster because of the speed of the ball might enable him to break the first tackle, because the guy has that less time to get there, and a 10-yard catch turns into a 20-yard catch.
Right.
Even a little short throw in the flat can turn into 5 yards and be bigger just because of the speed and the power of the ball.
Well, and to your point, John Elway, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Dan Marino, every other great
Roethlisberger, all of them.
All
even
have
Joe
great
Flacco.
arms, right. All have great arms. Right.
And they were passers, too.
Right.
They had great touch.
Yes.
And they could drop the ball. They could finesse it. They haven't just that innate feel to throw. And I've heard my son say it, and I say it all the time, too. Born to throw. Yeah. And when he was probably 4 years old, he picked something up and he threw it. And somebody goes, "Wow, you're only 4? What an arm!"
Keep doing that.
and that's what you always hear. And usually, guys like that, I love even Drew Lock, who I just have read and everything. What a really terrific basketball player he was. Most quarterbacks can hit it, throw it, shoot it, all those things. And if they can't, sometimes that worries me.
Yeah.
But the bad thing about Kyler Murray that worries me is when the pocket's around him, can he stand in there and work the pocket? And people say, well, he threw from the pocket a lot at Oklahoma. Okay, if you want, I don't call that a pocket he had at Oklahoma. I call that the Great Wall of China, and he stood behind it most of the time.
Right.
We got a little glimpse a couple times. Probably the greatest glimpse was at Alabama early in the game when they were really around him and it got tight. The quarters were tight, and we saw him kind of throw a few balls, panic, and make some bad throws and decisions because he wasn't used to it. But he will get used to it in the NFL. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah. So basically, if you, I don't know if you said it at the top, if you're an NFL team and you need a quarterback and you had your choice of any quarterback in the draft, you would take Kyler Murray over anyone?
I would take him, yes. It's a tough one. I would take him, I would take him because of all the good things I said. Okay, now, I love all this too that we talk about. Well, you've got to create a special offense. Oh, my gosh. I mean, what creation are we going to come up with? What did he do at Oklahoma that NFL teams are not doing? Oh, he was in the shotgun and he caught it and threw the pass. Kyler Murray is going to be able to get under center and hand the ball off and run play action passes too.
Yeah.
He'll be able to get under center and take a deep drop and throw the ball. I don't see him getting under center and throwing a lot of quick passes. I don't see that.
Right.
Because that's when his size would be a problem.
Yeah.
But this thing I just keep hearing, well, you got to really be willing to create an offense for him. Well, I'm still trying to figure that out, but you don't have to. It's not rocket scientists, whatever,
right.
All that stuff. Every NFL team in the league could adapt to Kyler Murray really fast if he was their quarterback.
Okay, so you owe him one, and then where do you go with the Haskins?
Well, I'm going. I heard you. I'm going with Drew Lock, number 2.
Okay.
For many things, athletic ability, arm, all that, great size. And a lot of people talk about some of the games. And look, I did not like their offense at Missouri at all. I didn't think they were a great team.
Right.
But when he played against Alabama and Georgia, you can. I don't care. I think I read something a few days ago. Well, he didn't play well against one of these teams. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Because out there outclassed physically.
Right.
But in those games against great competition, I think it was against Alabama. The first play of the game, he throws an interception.
Yeah.
And then he comes back, and I'm pretty sure it's been a while.
Yeah, no.
The very next play, he throws a seam up the field in between some defenders that only probably 10 quarterbacks in the NFL could make that throw.
Right.
But it's not only the throw, it's the fact that he threw an interception to start the game and then comes back and sees a window that's so small and says, yeah, I like that, and he just rips it in there.
Right.
And that's it. And even against Georgia, the great competition, he made some spectacular throws, and those things really stuck out to me. Do I have a few question marks, about him? Yeah, I wish he would be a little more systematic in the way he plays. I know it's college football, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stand in there, move around a little more, make throws. I thought he threw a lot of balls off balance and falling back. You know why he did it? Because he can.
Right.
But he didn't have to.
Right.
So that part bothered me a little bit. But I feel pretty good and secure that he is the second best quarterback in this draft.
Okay.
I really do. I kind of waffled a little bit and all those things and everything, but when I look at it, I just see such an upside that he basically can run any type of offense you want to run. If you want to move the quarterback, all that, throw on the run. And look, I thought at the Senior Bowl, which I watched the Senior Bowl practices.
Yeah.
That's how bored I get early during the offseason. But I thought even, that you see his arm, and it looked different on TV there compared to the other guys.
Yep. All right. So
you're the same person. You guys
we
agree.
We are so far. That's it.
So far. We'll both agree. I don't know. Did you say you got Dwayne Haskins 3?
Oh, yeah. I like Haskins a whole lot. I mean, I
do too.
Yeah, okay.
I wish he could have played one more year of college football.
Right.
And I know that Kyler Murray played 1 year. We've seen it work. Trubisky played 1 year. That's worked out pretty well, all those things. But, look, he's Ben Roethlisberger standing in the pocket. He played against great competition. Of course, he had tremendous receivers and all the other stuff. But he throws with people all around him. He's a good short thrower with the crossers, which is a big thing in the NFL.
Yep.
And when he wants to turn the heat up, he can do it. And I think he's a really good deep ball thrower too.
You're hearing more negativity around him though, I think, than some of these other quarterbacks right now.
Yeah.
People seem to be really high on Kyler, seem to be higher on Drew Lock. You do hear more things that Dwayne Haskins can't do than what he can do. Why do you think that is lately?
Well, what is it he can't do? I mean, I think what's happening, it's the other things, some of the intangibles that have come into play for him, and weight. I don't know why, running the 5-flat 40, there's many quarterbacks that have done that. That would not bother me because that's not who he is. And when he did decide to run at Ohio State, I thought he was fairly capable that he can run and get you 5 yards when it breaks down and all that. So it must have something to do with interviews, just little things they hear, all these interactions teams have with him. I've heard a few rumors, and I don't even look for them about that. And maybe teams in this day and age just look at him and think it's too one-dimensional.
Yeah.
But I think the arm kind of gets rid of that part of it too.
Right.
I mean, so look, he can still run a bootleg and move around the pocket. If Tom Brady can play action fake and get behind the tackle, I'm pretty sure Dwayne Haskins can do it too.
That's right.
So, but it's still, I just like the skill set of the other two more, and that's why I've had Dwayne Haskins at number 3.
The thing and I never even told Dad, this is the thing I've been told. But, I mean, of course, the Combine, Dad mentioned it. It wasn't the best look. I think people thought he was a little out of shape maybe. He says he cramps up after 140. That wasn't quite that good. So I think that kind of started a little bit of the, I question this guy a little bit. The other thing that I've just been told by people around the NFL, and this is not necessarily a bad thing, but hey, the kid's, he's young and raw, and he's a kid still. I think we've all got into we all expected Andrew Luck walks in the room and he's got all the answers of the world figured out.
He's like 21 going on 40.
Exactly right. And I think this kid, Dwayne Haskins, I don't even know his exact age, but he's 21 and he's 21. I mean, that's all there is to it. And I think that's probably played into maybe him losing a little steam here in this conversation as well.
No question. And, the other thing is, too, the cramping up. And I heard you say this, and it's always been a pet peeve of mine, big time. That, I heard you talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick the other day.
Right.
Did you ever know me in your life that during the off season I got fat or out of shape or wasn't in playing shape?
Right. No, good quarterbacks really don't do that.
Quarterbacks don't. I just can't deal with a quarterback that's not always in shape. I would not draft them. And I've said it many times. If I think they're 5 pounds overweight, I go, well, what are you going to be in 5 years once you get money and you're in this league?
Right.
And when you can't train around the clock like they do in college, which they do.
Right.
They'll never train again the rest of their lives like they did in college.
Yes.
So that really is always a big point of mine. And I know, even if you're young, Christopher, listen, you know this. Ahmed, it's the same thing. When you go to college, if you're a quarterback, these things are already part of who you are, and they shouldn't have to be brought along somewhere where you figure it out. Because we're talking about the NFL, and you don't have time to figure some things out.
Yeah.
And so I know that kind of does bother me, that he cramped up. I don't know if he went on a big weight loss program before he went to the Combine, but hey, if he starts driving back and throwing some great passes, nobody's going to care.
That's right. All right.
So he's number 3.
Yeah.
And my number 4
Yeah.
is definitely different from yours. I'm looking at my sheets. I actually wrote them down.
Good.
Which is really amazing.
They came out of the head onto the sheet of paper.
I mean, he played
eventually.
in the 80s. Concussion protocol wasn't quite the same then. So.
No, don't say that. No. I just do everything off the top of my head because I've been watching and all this.
Right.
I have Daniel Jones at number 4.
Okay.
Ooh.
Wow.
I have him at 4.
Borderline first rounder, I think, right there then, right?
Well, I think he is a borderline first rounder. I don't know if he will. I don't think that when I judge guys over the years, I don't look at him and go, man, that is a guy you have to get in the first round.
Right.
Somebody could move up. Somebody could pick him. Or, the big thing, will the Giants take him at 16? And, David Cutcliffe, Eli Manning. I love all these comparisons. Like the Giants to go, hey, David Cutcliffe coached him,
right.
That's a great connection. Let's go for that because it worked for us last time. That's just another. Please don't tell me that again. I'm sick of hearing it. But
I'll take that out of my notes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, it's everywhere. He was schooled by David Cutcliffe.
Yeah.
That is great. It is David Cutcliffe, and it shows. There's a few guys in college football that run what I call at least pro-thinking offenses for quarterbacks, and Daniel Jones is a good example that he can find receivers. He can throw falling backwards as he's getting hit to find the guy that's the check down or whatever you want to say. And I say this, I think I've changed my opinion the more I watched him.
Right.
Is that I think his arm is sneaky good, and when he wants to turn the heat up, he can. I'm not saying it's elite arm power,
right,
but it's definitely good enough, and it's he can move around. He's in great shape, and and I think the big thing that really got me is that I just saw some power throws that I didn't see from a lot of the other guys that where I would put them ahead of Daniel Jones.
Okay. All right. That's good. All right.
So I know that's different what you think.
No, that's fine. But yeah.
I just watched him again 2 or 3 days ago.
Right.
And I just went, man, I really like what I saw. And I know you didn't like it because there's a lot of short throws and all that.
Yeah.
Don't blame him.
Yeah, I hear you.
He didn't design the offense.
Right.
But I saw some throws down the field, some sideline throws, and I had to thank God it was a good, clear day, and I could see, he spins it. I know some people think his arm motion's a little too long. That doesn't bother me at all either. I think when he needs to, he can turn it up. That's why I got him at 4.
All right, so and then give me your last guy here. Who would be the next guy up for you? Yeah, it's all right. Don't worry.
I got Clayton Thorson.
Okay.
And if you want to judge him, go look at his 2017 tape.
Yes, I know.
Did you ever do it?
Yes, I did. And it's a whole different ball game. I still don't know if I would put him in the class of the other two guys, but it certainly closed the gap to me to where I did think about, is he better than a Ryan Finley or a Jared Stidham? I'm going to say no, that's just me. But, yes, I know what you said. There's a lot of positives when you go back from 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he could run a low 4.6 40 when you watch him play from 2 years ago.
Yes, right.
And played hurt. Great leader, 4 years of experience, spins the ball big time, and I think he can throw it with power. And let's be honest, I mean, you're watching Northwestern, they do a great job.
Yes, they do.
If they get 1 foot of separation, that's wide open, son. You got to rip it in there.
You're right.
I mean, it was nothing but contested throws the whole year, so that was good. I have Ryan Finley 6, and why? Really well taught, does a lot of stuff. And I know you like him a lot. But the touch, all that's wonderful.
Yeah.
But I never saw one time where he just went boom.
Yeah.
I did not see it one single time.
Yeah, you're talking about the 100-mile-per-hour fastball, step on it, you didn't see it. Yeah.
That separates you because, like I said, we started this conversation, and I know you're in a hurry. And then,
you're good.
You got a question you want to ask me?
No, I don't got a question I want to ask you. And we're not in a hurry. Don't worry. Yeah, we're good.
Here's my sleeper.
Right.
And, I went through a lot of guys. I mean, I went to the Ole Miss quarterback, and I'd look and say, nope, he's not. Nope, he's not.
I know who you're going to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, Tyree Jackson.
Yeah, I had a feeling you're going to go there. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, here's what I got real quick.
Right.
Compact motion.
Yep.
What else did I write down? Good, of course, great size. He can really move. He's fast and quick for a big guy. He makes incredible big-time throws. So there's great upside. Now, here's what's bad, too.
Yeah.
He's in love with his arm, so he throws a lot of balls he shouldn't. He does not anticipate any throws. He wants them to get open, then he tries to throw it 100 miles an hour.
Right.
He'll pass up wide-open guys for 7-yard gains to try to throw a 30-yard 1 in 10 chance to get a completion. So he's quick to scramble, If he gets a flash of a color, he's gone.
Right.
But he didn't turn the ball over much, but he can make defenders miss. And I know it wasn't high-level football. I shouldn't say that. You know, it's good football, the division he plays in. It's in the MAC, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah, I keep forgetting Buffalo's in the MAC conference. But what potential. He would be a guy I would draft late and give him a lot of practice time.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do.
Right.
Maybe don't even play him in a preseason game. Yeah. Because if you try to sneak him out of practice squad, somebody's going to take him.
Yeah, right.
Because they're going to see that talent on the field.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be – and Jared Stidham, he's another one I didn't talk about. I liked him too. But as you look at this and you look at the draft and a lot of these guys, you're not going to be able to stash a lot of these quarterbacks on practice squads.
Right.
And I'm looking at it going, this year we might see more 3 quarterbacks on rosters than maybe we have in the past 5 years or so. Just because, you know, age, talent of the backup, and really the talent of the guys who are being drafted, they're too good to be put on practice squad.
Yeah, all right. That was awesome. And I hear you with Jackson from Buffalo.
Which at the Combine.
Killed it. I know.
Ran
a 4.5 at, you know, what was he, 200?
6'7", 250 for him.
Insane.
And so a lot of people at that point said, this guy, top 10, maybe even top 5 quarterback.
Well, I have seen him ranked as high by a few players, you know, just happened to be watching one of the networks and saw that somebody had him at number 5. And I went, wow, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But
he's the guy you would want maybe in the end of the 4th round, the 5th round, and you'd go, you know what, we're going to try to hit gold right here.
Do you see that?
The longer you wait, then the better you feel about it.
Exactly.
You know, in other words, I don't think there's going to be a run on quarterback, but everybody's not. He's going to be there. I'd be surprised if he's picked in the 4th round or whatever. But I remember years ago, and I'll let you go.
Yep.
Somebody says, give me a sleeper. A team did.
Right.
And I said, I got the sleeper. And his name was Derek Anderson.
Yeah.
And the Baltimore Ravens took him, and he turned out to be who I thought he was. I think it was Plan B or whatever. They let him go to Cleveland. He goes to Cleveland. I think he made the Pro Bowl. I'm not sure.
They did. They were 10-6.
10-6.
Right.
Everything's great. Romeo Crennel's the coach. I'm so happy for Romeo. Way to go, man. He's you know, because I spent so many years with him with the Giants. And then they screwed it up because they drafted a quarterback in the 1st round the next year, and all, you know, the fans, when you draft them in the 1st round, as soon as you throw an incompletion, we want the other guy.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the Giants will not draft one. I'm back to that again. Why they will not draft one in the 1st round? Because it will only create a problem. Even the fans will want to see the 1st-round quarterback against Eli Manning if that quarterback shows, you know, if it's Drew Lock,
right?
He's going to show that talent in preseason. You're going to see it and go, wow, this guy could be special.
Right.
So that just creates a controversy. That's why I don't think they'll do it. And I think people are crazy for not going after. You know, I think Josh Rosen is, if you can get him for a 2nd-round pick, that's an awesome pickup for your football team.
Yep.
And I don't know if you guys talked about this, and I don't mean to rush you along. I'm not trying to rush you.
I think he thinks he's talking
too
long.
We'll go for 2:30. I like
worry.
it all.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have talked about this before, but you just brought it up with Eli and the potential problems because the fans are going to want to see that 1st-round quarterback if they take him. And so there is a thought that, you know, the Giants have made a huge mistake by sticking with Eli to this point. You know, it's 1 year, maybe 2 years too long for an all-time great quarterback who's done great things for the franchise.
Sure.
You cannot discount that. But the time in the relationship is over now, and now the fact that they're extending that relationship is causing problems that may affect them in the future.
Well, you know, I don't know if it affects them in the future. I think if there's a guy there, a quarterback that they know they can't pass up, they'll take him.
Yeah.
I would think they would. You just can't. If you think he's a franchise quarterback, that'll be the whole thing. If they don't, then they're going to just say, if Drew Lock is still there at 6, I'm asking both of you, do you think he'll still be there at the 6th pick of the draft?
I do. I'm going to say he'll be there at 6, yes.
I do too.
Yes.
So if they don't take him, then that just says they did not think he was
the guy.
That guy.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about, if you think he's a franchise quarterback with a quarterback going into the 16th year, I just don't think you can pass him up.
Right.
Because if you wait for next year to get it, then, you know, it puts you, again, a year behind there. And it's I don't know. And So what's next year? Oh, next year is the great draft, the Oregon quarterback and Tua and Jake Fromm and all that. Well, okay, what are your chances of getting one of them? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm not, completely sold on that whole crew either.
So your gut tells you, though, right now that you just think the Giants are not going to make the move for the quarterback. They're going to avoid that whole controversy, though.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Right.
I thought maybe when they said they were going to extend Eli, I said, ooh, you remember I told you that? I said, they're just trying to throw everybody off the whatever. They don't want anybody to move up in front of them to steal a quarterback. But no, I'm back to that again, and I think they're going to give it one more shot and see if they can, because they're going to be able to get 2 starters, probably 3 starters out their first 3 picks.
Yeah, sure.
And so, they did it. They got some good, very good young guys last year. They came through for them. So, I think that they'll pass on the quarterbacks. If they do take one, then I think it would definitely be a second-round guy. But, it's amazing. You both of you answer this for me. There's just not the excitement when you take the guy in the second round compared to the first round.
No. You're right.
And so
until your starter struggles, and then there's a whole lot of excitement to see what that guy
to Dad's point, right. I don't remember any second-round picks getting any, love other than Derek Carr with the Oakland Raiders.
And he was the first pick in the second round, so he was almost round,
right. So he's one guy that jumps out to me. And then Jimmy Garoppolo with the New England Patriots. Those are about the only 2 second-round quarterbacks that I can think of in recent history that people were like, ooh, there's a future. Right. Everybody else, I don't know.
Fans are willing to wait. It's like, okay, we're willing to wait for him to develop and be the guy, whereas, you take that guy in the first round, you're not.
I agree, but with Jimmy Garoppolo, I watched all those preseason games.
Yeah.
I never came out of it and go, wow, that is really an unbelievable steal that they got there. I got to be honest, I never watched him in preseason games and saw anything that just made me think they really got one over on everybody.
Right.
Now, did he manage the game and he know where to go with the football? And, yes, because it was well-designed and everything. But I never looked at it and just went, this is an undeniable talent, and he should have been a first-round pick. I never thought that and didn't think that even after he went out to San Francisco and had that great, 5-game stretch.
Yeah, right. I hear you.
So we'll see as time goes along how that works out.
Yep. All right, Dad. You the
man.
All
right, guys.
Thanks
Good
for coming on.
Yeah, great talking with you.
All right.
Y'all have a great day. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah.
See you, Dad. See you. All right, there it was. That was your first experience.
That was good. I liked it.
Simms experience.
So much knowledge is coming into my head from the Simms family about quarterbacks and draft prospects. It's about to explode.
You even got 2 questions in there, so that was a good job.
Right, and he asked for my opinion one time.
He did.
I don't know that he cared.
I don't think he cared either. I don't think he really cared, but mine was either. That's just what he does. He likes
very polite.
He likes to pose those questions. But I will say this: when he talked about Tyree Jackson, the kid from Buffalo,
you're not. I
don't love
on
him.
Board.
No, I don't. I understand his logic though, because this is a pet peeve of mine, and that's where I was going to go with this. Is just that I can't stand when teams pick the 6th round quarterback and go, oh, he's going to be our backup or our 3rd stringer. No, you don't draft quarterbacks for that. You don't. Yeah. You draft a quarterback going, we think he can be the starter one day. That's how you do it, and that's how you build out a good backup off of that. You don't go, oh, this guy's a career 3rd string quarterback. We're going to waste a pick on him. No. You draft guys that you go, I see hope. I see something in the distance that really makes me think there is something there that if everything goes right and this kid works hard and takes the coaching and gets a few breaks, that he could be something down the line. Mm-hmm. And too often people are drafted for the other reason, where it's just, oh, he's good on the board and I think he'll get the team out of the huddle. Yeah. And, when there's a completion 4 yards down the field, he can throw it accurately. Great. But, when that guy gets in the game, actually, now you need to win a football game, you're going to go, damn, why the hell did we draft that guy? What the hell did we do here? All he can do is throw 4-yard throws. And I want to go, well, yeah, that's your fault, asshole. You're the one that drafted him. So don't blame anybody but yourself.
The dynamics of a draft, and I think it's really interesting, is that as you go later on, you get into the 5th round, and you have a player that you say, I think there is a 100% chance that he will be a backup for us at linebacker or defensive line. And there's some value in that.
Sure.
But I think what you're saying is you'd rather go with a guy that, there's a 20% chance that he could be a star. 80% chance that maybe he won't, turn out to be anything. Right. But you need to believe that there's at least a percent chance that this guy could be a star or a significant starter for you. Because if you look at him and just say, okay, I don't think he'll ever be a star, but I think he can be a solid contributor for us, that's just not sexy enough.
That's not what they do. Yeah. And again, I would say I'll use New England as an example again there. I don't think they ever draft quarterbacks and just go, oh, they go, wait, if Brady's not here or whoever it may be, we see something here in this guy, whether it's a Brian Hoyer, a Ryan Mallett, a Jimmy Garoppolo, those type of guys. Tom Brady was drafted for the same reason. They had Drew Bledsoe, but they said, there's something about this guy. He could be gold when it's all said and done. And to me, that's just the proper approach in the conversation.
That was meaty. That whole thing was meaty, right?
Yes,
but very good.
Yep. Good.
Your dad had Drew
I thought he was going to go harder. I thought it was going to be he was going to tell me something like Drew Lock was his number one quarterback.
I mean, your top three were the same, and I was like, "Where's the?"
The way he talked it about it, I got some things. This is how he talk. He'll text me. He texts me late Saturday night, and he was just like, when we doing the pod this week? And then I told him, well, I don't know about Wednesday. And then it was, okay, I got some things to say at quarterback. Might shock you. I think I got my rankings. And when he just said that to me, I just thought, man, he usually doesn't say shit like that to me unless he knows it's going to be like different than what I had. So either way.
Your biggest disagreement was on maybe the Buffalo quarterback and Duke quarterback.
Yeah, right. Daniel Jones at 4, that certainly surprised me right off the bat, yes.
Okay.
All right. Good.
Are we good?
I think we're done. I don't think there's anything else to talk about in the NFL. I'm looking at news. If anything broke here as of late, nothing.
Look like it.
So, no, I think we're good. We made it in the clear. You got anything happening this weekend?
No, I'm off, actually.
Good for you.
I get the weekend off, so
Way to go.
Spend it in the backyard with the family, running around. You?
Weddings in Boston. I got to go to a wedding in Boston,
Okay, that's a
Which
fun
will be
time.
cool. It'll be fun. I'm going to have fun, see some old friends. So
good deal.
That's cool. But everybody, thanks for tuning in. Yep. We always appreciate it. For Chris Simms, Ahmed Fareed, thanks for tuning in. Have a good weekend. Remember, Chris Simms Unbuttoned. You can find it at youtube.com/NBC Sports, Instagram @Simms Unbuttoned, Twitter @CSimmsQB. Man, I am becoming one hell of a host.
Everywhere.
And
Draft week
is coming, and I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Peace out, homies.
Makes me sad, though, because we can't talk about the draft.
Well, we can evaluate it and tell everybody how they're wrong. Yo, what's up? Come on, man. Subscribe on YouTube to Chris Simms Unbuttoned Podcast. I need you. Please hit the subscribe button, please.